Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day one of the IRF training and day two of the long-term care training. We actually have two groups here today. Yesterday we had maybe 70 or 80 people in this room, and today we've got quite a few more, and we've had to open up some curtains over here and put our speakers in a ancillary room, so it's crowded. Bear with us. We had some trouble with the temperature yesterday. It started out about, felt like 45 degrees, and then we got it up to about 90, and then we eventually got to the right place. I think they're going to need to start it cool this morning. So welcome. I'm going to go through some quick housekeeping items, and then I'm going to show you how to use the Slido application that we're using to do polling today and to ask questions. So go ahead and pull out your telephones while I'm starting out with these housekeeping items. You can do it either on your telephone, you can do it on a laptop, you can do it on a tablet. So one of the things we're doing today, CMS is coming or has a new software program that's going to be replacing Keys and Aspen and Casper. It's called iKeys, and we have people who are going to be talking about that later today. We also have them set up in a room that's back over here to the right. It's behind the last panel of curtains, and there will be people there demonstrating it. You'll be able to play with it a little bit, and they want to get your feedback. So if you can stop by there on breaks or at lunch, that would be appreciated. Restrooms are out the door and to the left, both men's and women's. And there are some people walking around with yellow shirts, bright yellow shirts. I don't think anybody out there in the audience has yellow shirts, so you won't have to learn the answers to all the questions. But if you have any questions about anything, the temperature, where something is, if you need help of any kind, find one of those folks in yellow shirts and they can help you. You have a packet. And in that packet, you're going to find agendas, acronym lists, bios for all the speakers today, some practice scenarios you'll be using, some coding sheets you'll be using as you go through. Just familiarize yourself with that. On the agenda today, in the morning, we're going to be talking about sections N and M, and we're going to do a case study. And we'll have a lunch break. We will have a mid-morning break. After noon, we'll have another break, but we'll be rolling out some information about public reporting and the iKeys program in the afternoon. I'm not going to read all the bios of the speakers. We have 5 people speaking today. All of them are clinicians and measures developers and statisticians who have a long history in this program, and they're the ones that are not only developing a lot of these measures and have been over a number of years, but are developing the guidebooks and the manuals you're using when you're out there coding. They can answer your questions. So you have an opportunity today while they're in the room with you to ask any questions that you'd like to. Anything at all. We had questions yesterday about what's the importance of collecting certain kinds of data elements, and they're able to just rattle off the answers, and others might not necessarily know how to do that. So this morning we'll hear from Carol Swartz. She's with RTI International, Ann Spenard, who's with Qualidigm, who does a lot of work nationally, but is also a QIO up in the New England area. We have Karen Pryor Topalis, who's with Mount Sinai Rehab in New York, I believe, and she's a clinician. Tree Lee, who is with RTI International. And finally, we have Shamir Cassell, who's with CMS, and she'll be talking in the afternoon about the iKeys program, and she'll be able to answer anything that you've got questions about on that. So I've gone through these slides, and just some general information. We are videotaping today. We have a video camera back here. And so after these videos have been edited and are ready, they'll put them up on the CMS YouTube site so you can go back and view them. If you have staff at your facilities that you'd like to show these to, you can have them go look at those. There will be certificates of completion for everybody who's here today, and those will be coming in the next few weeks. I believe those will come via email. And now we're ready to learn how to use Slido real fast. And this is important because as we go through today, we're going to want you asking questions directly into Slido. It's a web-based app, and we're trying it out. Well, we've tried it out a few times, but we're trying it out today for people in the room. But eventually, when we're doing these programs and it's web streamed, anybody in the country, anybody in the world for that matter, can hit this website if they're listening in on the presentation and take part in polls that we're doing and ask questions. So the first thing you need to do is type this web address that you'll see up on your screen into the device you're using. And you'll see a little blank come up. It has a hashtag beside it. And what you want to do is type in econometrica. And Ethan in the back is doing it right now. Does everybody have that? Okay, so there are two sections on this. If you look up at the top of the screen, and you can see it right up here, there's a tab for questions and a tab for polls. So when we're on the polls, all you have to do is tap that, and you'll see poll questions like this. Anytime during the session, if you have questions, you can ask questions using this as well. So we're going to try it out. Here's your first poll. Which fort defended the Baltimore Harbor during the War of 1812? Was it Fort Cumberland, Fort Meade, Fort McHenry, or Fort Frederick? And you can see as people start putting in their answers, we've got 28 so far, it's going up 32. You can see a number right up here that shows how many people have answered. And as the answers come in, the polls change, so it's recalculating the percentages. Right now, most of the people are saying Fort McHenry. And let's go to the answers. The answer is Fort McHenry. And it's actually just a stone's throw from here. If you're from out of town and haven't been here before, you can actually go over there in the evening if you want to and see the fort. That's what it looks like right now. And that's the fort where Francis Scott Key was sitting when he wrote the Star-Spangled Banner. And if you get a chance to go over to Washington, it's only 30 minutes away, and go to one of the Smithsonian museums over there, you can actually see the flag, and it's pretty dramatic. Baltimore's waterfront neighborhood of Fells Point was the second largest point of immigration after Ellis Island. True or false? And everybody's saying true. I want to know how the heck you know that. That is the correct answer. And Fells Point's a little neighborhood that's right down here past the Inner Harbor. And the street looks just like that right now, and it'll just beat the heck out of your car if you're driving on that cobblestone. And one other point of just interest, these rooms to the sides of us were actually part of the original hotel. This hotel was built in like 1928. So they built a nice hotel. They didn't have enough foresight to build it after the Great Depression had ended. So I'm not sure how well it did. But these panels over here on the wall, the paper is actually hand painted. They've got maps and historical things, and you can walk around in there and look. They didn't know they were there. When they started refurbishing the hotel and restoring everything, they started pulling off wallpaper and found this stuff underneath, and were able to restore a lot of it. And I learned yesterday from a panel over there that Fells Point's named after a family named Fells who had a little cabin not too far from Fells Point in 1729. So which baseball Hall of Famer was born in Baltimore? Is it Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, Joe DiMaggio, or Cy Young? So you know about Fells Point being the entry point for immigrants, but you don't know the answer to this one? Let's go to the answers. Go to the slides. And the answer is Babe Ruth. So he was born here. I'm going to skip the next couple of these, Ephraim, and show you the questions. CMS is located in Baltimore. This is the question portion of this, and I just want to show you this. What you'll do is go up here where it says questions, and what we would like you to do is going to bring up a little menu for you to put in your name, your organization, and your email. The reason we're doing that is as we're asking questions throughout the day, CMS will look at those at lunch and put together the best answer on all those, and they'll come back in the afternoon and give us answers to all those questions that you've asked, or as many of them as they can. And I'm going to let you go ahead and ask a question. Have people got their phone set up? Name and organization in there? So this is what it's going to look like, and you can ask any question you want to put in there. And if you go ahead and put one in, if other people put them in, what you'll see is at the bottom of your screen, below where you're putting in those questions, you'll be able to see other people's questions. And one of the things that we will ask you to do, if you glance through there and you see somebody has a question that's of interest to you, instead of putting it in a second time, there's a little icon and you can just hit like, and that'll allow us to categorize these or prioritize them. That'll save us a tremendous amount of time. And so at this point, I'm going to turn it over to our first speaker. And our first speaker this morning is Carol Swart. She's with RTI. And she'll be talking to you about Section N medications. Carol?